Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Focus TV. This week, season 5, episode 29. So we're moving our way through season 5, and we'll figure out when season 6 starts. What is important is that we got Octavia Wyatt. I'm Wilson Tarbay Jr. We'll be joined by Cardell and Ray a little bit later. They're both at the ESA, taking in tonight's Mystics game. The Mystics are hosting the Atlanta Dream, and the Dream are looking for a little bit get back after the last time they met last weekend. That said, we can talk some NBA playoffs. Again, Cardell and Ray will chime in on the Mystics, let you guys know how that game went. So DC United news. Last week I talked to you guys, told you they had 2 games to play last week. They did in fact play both games. I'll let you know how they did. And then look, man, the sports world, rest for no one. And rapid fire is always interesting because people don't know what they're doing. And shout out to the NFL. That's always the story that always keeps, there's never a dull moment, right? So OTA started for quite a few teams, and folks didn't waste any time getting into altercations with reporters, getting signed. Like, it's day 2 or day 1 of OTAs, and people are ready, like on edge. So we're gonna get into some of that stuff. An NBA side, for the teams that are not in the postseason, people made decisions, and decisions have ramifications, and ramifications sometimes end up being consequences, and consequences end up being things that you pay for dearly. And we're gonna get to that just a little bit later. But Octavia, you want to start with you with the NBA playoffs. So the last time we were here, we're in the midst of round 2. We're wrapping up round 2 rather. Now, we're in the conference finals, and one series
Go ahead and
deadlocked.
wrap it.
Right. Another series, brooms were taken out of closets. Don't know if they'll be used, but brooms were at least taken out of closets.
Yeah.
So we'll start with I want to say the more competitive one, but like this, there's some wild swings in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I want to get your thoughts on it.
It's crazy. It's like the stats alone in this series is ridiculous. In every game, somebody has been up by 20 points. In every single game. And what's even crazier is the fact of how they're going back and forth. It's like you win a game, I win a game. You win a game, I win a game. Which, as I say, it's crazy, but it's typical, honestly, because when you play as bad as you did in the previous game, because like I said, in each one of these games, the team that lost was down by 20 at some point. So to go from losing by 20 or feeling like you've been embarrassed in this game, of course, your focus is different going into the next game. So I really think it's just going to be about who can finally keep the focus for back-to-back games, because that's what's really throwing it off. Miami had a great game 1. Granted, I do think that some of the reasoning for also some of this back and forth is there's a lot of injuries in this series, and I hate it so much because with these 2 top tier caliber teams, you want to see them at full strength and playing against each other with everybody. Game 1, Al Horford and Marcus Smart didn't play. And Kyle Lowry didn't play for Miami. Then switch to the next game, they play, but then, somebody leaves with a knee injury. Marcus Smart re-injures his foot. In this before last night, the game before that, Jason Tatum, gets a stinger in his shoulder. Robert Williams has knee soreness. Tyler Hero's out with a groin. I think the entire starting 5 for the Heat was on the injury report before the game even started. So it's a lot of back and forth, and I think that that's part of it. But I just really think that I don't know what it is. Like, everybody just does not have like that laser focus to hone in on it. And also, I think one thing that's really great about this series is it's showing how important defense is. All we talk about is offense and how flashy this person is and how many points they scored, which of course is needed. But the old saying is, offense wins games, defense wins championships. Because even if you talk about in this last game, Boston was up by 20. Miami was 0-14 for their first 14 shots. They didn't score until 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first quarter. And you would think that something like that, Boston was blowing them out. But Boston didn't even shoot well. Jaylen Brown was 5 of 1,000, it seemed like at this point. Al Horford had 5 points, even though his biggest impact was his rebounding, and of course his defense. They were out without Marcus Smart again. Derek White started off well, but he only had 13 for the game. He scored 10 of it in the first quarter. But Boston's defense was so smothering that even though they weren't scoring at a high clip, if you want to say, as far as their shooting percentage, Miami wasn't scoring at all. And I mean, like, the craziest stat, of course, that everybody has heard is that their starting five combined had 18 points. Victor Oladipo by himself outscored his entire starting five. So it's just, to me, it's going to come down to will and who can string together, a back-to-back positive game and stay engaged and locked in. And if they're going to get all of their players, because granted, the starting five for the Miami Heat didn't shoot well. They probably could have really used Tyler Hero last night to kind of shock the system and possibly get some scoring going, because he can create for himself as well. It's interesting to see Bam play kind of up and down as well. Another interesting stat I heard them say, as far as, Bam has had three really great games in these playoffs. Two of them, Joel Embiid did not play in, and then the last one, Robert Williams did not play in. So when he doesn't have anybody down there that's really banging with him, he kind of gets off. But when somebody is down there with him that can do the same things he can do, if not more, it's been a little bit more difficult for him. So they're going to need him to step up. Jimmy Butler with his knee soreness or knee inflammation. Kyle Lowry still, of course, nursing a groin injury. They have a lot of injuries. But I think that with Boston winning this last game and then letting Marcus Smart rest, because I think he's really going to be the key, because you can see how everything just kind of runs so much more smoothly when he's in. Like, it's crazy to see. Not saying that they don't run well without him, but they run much better with him, in my opinion. So I think it's just going to come down to who can string it together and stay locked in. But I think Boston has a really good chance with Marcus Smart coming, off of the rest. I mean, I haven't heard anything about Tyler Hero, if he's going to play or not. But all in all, like, this is just a crazy series. Like, I think if Boston wins this next game, they can win it in 6. But I think if Miami wins this next game, it's definitely going 7.
Yeah, I don't know what to think. Because like, that's the thing. Both sides have been missing players, but both of each team's respective 2 wins haven't come when they were both at full strength either. Mm-hmm. So again, I don't know what's going on between these two. I'm not going to try to guess at all. We're going to just take it. But like you said, the thing with Bam is, Robert Williams, and Cardell hates this anytime you mention Robert Williams, because Washington could have had him. There's athletic people. There's the top percentage of athletic people. And there's those freaks of nature. Robert Williams, while Bam is uber athletic, Robert Williams belong in that top tippity. Where it's a little bit different. So even though he's 6'8", you feel like he's 7'2" when you put the shot up, because he's up there somewhere. Yeah. And Bam sometimes try to outquick people. He's probably just as quick, laterally. So it's a problem, right?
Even with the knee injury too.
Yeah, he's bouncy as you know what. Just like, again, it's perfect for Al, because Al, everything he's bringing to the table in his ripe age, he's bringing so much. Even young Al, exploding vertically was never one of his great gifts. And you get to be like, you know what, Al, in certain moments when Rob's here, man, you don't even need to try. Young boy got it. He's going to go up. He's going to climb the ladder and deal with all that stuff up there. You deal with all that stuff down here. I think one of the reasons this series is so weird, like, they're kind of similar in how their teams are. Mm-hmm. They're kind of similar. Like, the strength is a little bit different, where, Marcus and Kyle matter for both of these teams. Definitely. When they're both not there, something's not right. No matter how great the other pieces are. And while Marcus and Kyle aren't their horses of their respective team or their top guys, they're kind of sort of really important for how those teams offensive, like, they're both of those teams, like, they're their team's respective leaders, and they take their personality of Kyle and Marcus. And when they're not there, that personality is a little, it's a little up and down. And
a little lackadaisical out there.
Right. They're talented as hell, but, the teacher's out the room to a degree, right?
That's a good one.
We got a lot of substitute type activity happening in the series.
Yeah, we got a substitute teacher today.
Yeah. Kids just acting a fool. Like you watch Jaylen Brown, as insanely talented as he is, go for 41 game and turn around last. They won last game. His most recent game was the last night or whatever. He went 5 of 20, but Tatum was on. Like Boston's been able to like get multiple people rolling in previous series. It hasn't happened in this one.
Yeah.
And it is something I'm going to table that, file it away, and keep it for something we'll discuss, possibly for the next round for each of these respective teams, for whoever advances, because I don't like some of the talk I'm seeing about, whoever comes out the East, it's their world. We'll get into that a little bit later because I'm watching a whole lot of struggle bus right here, offensively, trying to understand it, right? And it's interesting to say the least. On to the other series. Okay, these before I let you go, I was going to just present you with some of the going to bring up some of the narratives or the things that were shared going into the series and how some of those things have changed now that we are at where we are at now. Going into the series, it's Luka's world. We know Larry Legend Jr., as Cardell often calls him, is a bad man, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we've all sat here going into the conference finals, and we're kind of trying to tell everybody, like, Golden State's not officially dead. Everybody should relax. Like, they had a 2-year hiatus, not by choice. Like, some Thanos-level activity had to happen for them to get down that bad, to be selecting where they were selecting. Cool, right? They're on the way back up, and people are just – you saw that list of the top players left in the playoffs, and the little light skin was, like, underneath 4 or 5 names. And some of them names I'm not going to name. I had 5 points a playoff game several times. Jimmy, want to know what's going on. Other folks, performances, but not wins. Just really interesting things have been said. And then now it's the familiar, what is the favorite adage when people lose to Golden State? Player X didn't have enough help.
Yeah, that's what they're going to say too.
We've been hearing that since like 2014, 2015. Either somebody got hurt, or if somebody didn't get hurt, they would have been in trouble. Or so-and-so didn't have enough help, but you told us so-and-so had a better cast and everything was better, yada, yada, yada. It's 3-0. Broom handles are being grasped collectively by Dubs fans going into this game. I don't know if they'll close it out just because Golden State you can't ever trust Golden State to do what they're supposed to do because they always veer off and they're going to beat themselves at one point and then get back to doing what they're supposed to do. Like, they got substitute type teacher mentality even when Steve's around. Like, they just going to do some stuff and they're like the really smart kid in class be like, I could ace it, but how about this?
Yeah.
But your thoughts on that series, man? I definitely want to hear them.
I mean, everything you said is completely accurate. I mean, that's going to be the storyline. It's going to be, well, I mean, if they played the Suns, it wouldn't have been this easy for them. Well, the Suns didn't make it. So let's go ahead and stop that conversation, and then it's also definitely going to be, Luka didn't have enough help. This is Luka's first time in the Western Conference finals. Dinwiddie didn't step up. They couldn't make 3. It's going to be all types of excuses, except for the fact that Golden State is the better team. And that's the reason they're winning. Granted, like you said, there's been a lot of overtures of who's the best left in the playoffs. And, the babyface assassin has been disrespected as always, which is nothing new. I just don't think they like to give him the credit that I believe he's due in certain situations. But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, honestly, I'll say I'm slightly surprised because of what you said. Like, I do feel like at times Golden State they can get bored, like they get bored. They be like, maybe we should just mess up. And I don't think they do it on purpose. I mean, like unintentionally, like they don't focus in and they're like, oh snap, now we got to really play for real. So, I think sometimes that does happen. And so that's why, like, I'm kind of surprised that at least Dallas hasn't pulled one out. But at this point, I feel like if they were going to pull one out, it would have been the first one. Like,
yeah.
Although I know that it's very hard to close out a series, so tonight's game you would expect for it to be, down to the wire type game, but we haven't had many of those. except for I think the one where Golden State came back in like the last minute of the game or something like that.
But even then, like they came back and blew the thing open by it. Like that 3
Yeah,
minute
it happened like
was,
real fast. That's what I'm saying. Like it technically wasn't even considered a close game because they were down, and then it came back in like 44 seconds and won by like 12.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. But I mean, I just feel like just to give Dallas their props, like nobody thought Dallas would be here. Nobody thought Dallas would get past. I mean, I'm sure some people didn't think they'd get past Utah. Like, let's keep it real. Some people probably didn't think they'd get past Utah. I mean, I honestly did because Utah just disappears in the playoffs for some reason. But a lot of people didn't think they'd get past the Suns. That's why it was such a big deal when they blew the Suns out in the last game. It was like, oh my God, what happened? Like, this is the Suns we're talking about. But I'm not surprised at the situation. Jordan Poole is Jordan Poole's coming along. I mean, Andrew Wiggins, like, let's give him his props. I know, like, he might have, he had a high in the beginning of the season. He kind of mellowed out in middle of the pack towards the remaining of the season. But like they even said in the game, he looks like a brand new player in these playoffs. And his defense on Luka, granted, may not be 100% every time because you want to say, well, how great is his defense if Luka is scoring 40? Luka is going to do Luka things. Like,
that's working. He's working for the 40.
And exactly. And it's hard. It's a hard 40. And I would rather give Luka a hard 40 than to just let him do whatever he wants. And I believe that Andrew Wiggins is playing him really, really hard. And he's going at Luka on the other end. And that's what they're all trying to make. I feel like they're doing the same thing to Luka that they did to Chris Paul. They're trying to make Chris Paul work really, really hard. So he's tired because we all know that Luka also has conditioning issues. He needs to get in better shape as well. So they're doing the same thing that they did, that Dallas did to Phoenix, to Dallas. So it is what it is at this point. I don't think, granted, if they miraculously pull out a win in this game, that's great. Go to St. Just like, yeah, we just want to get our champion, get our new Western Conference Finals trophy
in the bag.
In the Bay. So maybe that might be what it is, but I like go and also just to touch on, I know we said we might touch on it later, but as far as people are already stamping whoever comes out of the East being the favorite, like I hate the conversations like that. Yep. Like, first of all, let's wait till we find out who's coming out the East. And granted, yes, we have a 99.9% thought process of who's coming out the West. Let's wait till who comes officially out of the West.
I feel like there's nothing wrong with patience.
Exactly. And let's look at the game as it is. I can't sit here and definitively, and don't get me wrong, because I'll be honest, I'm pulling for Boston because I think they're having a really great season. But I can't sit up here and say that Boston winning it all, right? Because that's just disrespect to the talent and the culture that they have in Golden State. I think they said that Steve Kerr has never lost a playoff series as their coach. Like, that's wild. He's never lost a playoff series.
Yeah, because technically the play-in doesn't count. It wasn't a series. That's absurd.
So I'm saying, like, how can you discredit somebody who does that?
You can't, man. I'm sorry.
It doesn't make any sense to me. So I think that whoever we get in the finals, because again, like I said, 99.9% that it'll be Golden State. Mm-hmm. And I think between Boston and Miami, it's going to be a great series, whoever it is.
Yeah, and then I guess as
long as everybody's healthy. Jesus.
And my final thoughts on that is just like, everybody be saying that stuff about Golden State until you have to play Golden State. And like, everyone has a good defense until you get there, and them lights can stress you the hell out. It's all fun and games,
especially because they added a third light skinned brother. Like, come on.
And then this is the part that's so crazy. Like, the main two, they're not shooting their best from three right now. Exactly. Actually, it's the third one, and it's led by Wiggins, who's shooting 39 from three, which is absurd. And again, like, I don't know what to tell folks, man. And Wiggins, I know we showed him a lot of love on one of the morning shows earlier this week, because think about he's extending windows and he's made life easier for Klay. And I think some of the second half struggles of the season was getting acclimated with Klay. Like, bro, Klay is a huge part of their offense when Klay is back. Like, it's one thing where it's you, Steph, Poole. Like, Poole had a dip too in the second half. Yeah. It took Poole a minute, like, oh, okay, oh yeah. The number 1B is back. Okay. Let me figure out how I fit in.
You are now 2.
Right. I'm officially now. It's 1A, 1B. Draymond, because he's in the middle of all that.
Yeah,
right?
Just call him like 1C and a half.
It's 1A, 1B, 1C. Then Poole. So I mean, it's tough, man. But credit to them for the job they've done, and just people have to just give people the type of respect they deserve for what they've accomplished. And again, Dallas, I'm not rooting out. I'm not gonna say Dallas can't extend the series. They definitely can. But again, it's a long road, and this is the saddest part about all this. Golden State's the only team in the league that's been here multiple times in this type of deep water. And no disrespect to Miami, like you did in the bubble, you haven't done it in this climate. The back and forth, the travel, and
that bubble. Different. That bubble is not the same.
Hey, look, that bubble is not the same. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our first break, and we get back, come back, talk some Mystics. You're watching the Focus TV. As always, appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you guys in just a little bit. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, got some Mystics updates for you guys. Washington took on the reigning champion Chicago Sky on Sunday. It was the first time they got to see former Mystics forward Emma Mieseman, who was part of their championship run in 2019. And, there was also the first game of the season for 2021 Finals MVP Kalea Copper. So shout out to her being back. I'm sure Chicago was happy to have her back. That said, Candace Parker stole the show in the second half. Triple-double for CP3, the one with the chip. And for more on that game, get over to thefocustv.com. And you guys can check out Mystics Outlook. Cardell, Ray, and myself talked about that game in a little bit more depth. Right now, we're going to get out to the ESA with Cardell and Ray are live, and they're going to chime in and let you guys know their thoughts on tonight's game between the Washington Mystics and the Atlanta Dream. When we return, we're going to talk a little bit DC United. See you guys soon.
This was a defensive clinic, man. This is one of the best defensive games I've seen from the Mystics in years. The devastation that they gave the Dream were out of it at the beginning of the game, honestly, man. They couldn't really get anything going offensively. They were hit with the 13 points, and Mystics just stuck with that formula throughout the game, even with their own offensive woes at times. I'm just going to read off some stats so everyone can understand. They held the Dream to 35% shooting from the field, 19% shooting from deep, and forced 25 turnovers, and held rookie sensation and WNBA leading scorer Ryan Howard scoreless. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better defensive performance from Washington, man. And they said during preseason they gonna hang their hat on the defense end, despite obviously the talent they have on the offense, man. They thought if they can play this level of defense, then offensively it would just take the pressure off them offensively, and they would beat most teams. And then obviously if they explode offensively, it's just you have no hope as an opponent. That's kind of what we saw tonight defensively. Offensively, they were up and down. They had their moments, but they didn't even really need to have an offensive explosion the way they were playing defense. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, no Dream scored in double figures but Ari McDonald, and she was a reserve off the bench, playing 27 minutes, man. She was the only one. Everyone else was held to single digits. It was an amazing performance, man. Like I said, for a guy, I value all around play, but I really emphasize defense because we seem to be in a time where most people just disregard it. And tonight, you see defense reign supreme, just like on the fellas side of things, you see defense reign supreme in the playoffs. This just was, again, a defensive clinic, man. And, any coach at any level, you want to see how to play team defense, you should get the film on this game and take a few notes, man, because this was special with the Mystics, what they accomplished.
Yeah, man, there's nothing else to talk about besides defense. Like this was brutal for the Dream, man. Like I felt bad at times. The Mystics had them in hell. Like Cardell said, held Ryan Howard to 0 points. Coming into this game, she was leading the league in scoring. So that tells you the job they did. They just saw this team on Friday, and Ryan Howard came out the gate smoking. She had 19 in the first half. They kind of bottled her up in the second half, and they were just determined not to have a repeat of that. Every time she touched the ball, she saw multiple defenders They were pushing her baseline, trapping hard, just getting the ball out of her hands. That just shows you the level of respect she has earned in 7 short games in the WNBA. Because she's been on the tear, man. This was her first rookie. First game she looked like a rookie. But it's look at the lengths the Mystics had to go to to make her ineffective. And not every team has the personnel and the discipline to perform like that defensively. So I mean, that just goes to show like what type of talent she is. But yeah, man, it was just clinic on that end for the Mystics. They forced 25 turnovers and the Dream only had 12 assists. That shows you how just how dominant the Mystics were defensively tonight, man. And that was the story of the game. And the third quarter really put the finishing touches on it. The Mystics won that quarter 20-8, and it was just a wrap from that for the Dream. Fourth quarter was just mop up minutes, to be perfectly honest, man, because by that point, they were deflated. It was no hope for a comeback. They couldn't get anything going, and the Mystics had firm control of the game. So, I mean, that's just impressive for them to come out and perform this way. Especially coming off a tough loss to Chicago the other night. It just shows the grit and determination of this team. This is the Dream, they start off the season strong, and the Mystics just showed them it's still another level to get to. The Mystics are eyeing the championship. It's no secret. And they just showed that they're on another level tonight. But yeah, man, just a defensive clinic, man, defensive masterclass. You can't ask for anything better than that.
All right, 2 games last week for the Black and Red. The first did not go very well. Last Wednesday at home, they fell to New York City FC 2-0. Set pieces, y'all have been hearing me say this over and over and over again. Set pieces played a pivotal role yet again as the visitors scored off a corner kick just 6 minutes into the game, courtesy of Alex Callens. The corner was played short, and then Chris Gloucester whipped the ball. It was an in-swinger into the near post, where Callens ran on and flicked it in off his head, past the keeper. It was Rafael Romo. In this case, the second goal came by way or extension of a set piece once again. Off of a corner kick, in stoppage time in the first half, the corner was taken. Morales got ahead on it, but the ball struck the extended arm of defender Brendan Hines-Ike. The official took a look at the video review, and next thing you know, a penalty kick was called. So NYCFC got to go into the half up 2-0. Castellanos stepped up and converted the PK for the visitors to take a 2-0 lead. DC United, they kind of rotated the lineup a little bit because of how many games they had in like a 10-day span, bringing they brought Taxi off the bench in that one, but they just weren't able to get anything going. As for Saturday, DC United appeared to get back on track, right? Get into the winning side of things, leave that match with all 3 points. They took a 2-1 lead in the 56th minute on Michael Estrada's goal, but Toronto provided an equalizer in the 89th minute. Disheartening. Jonathan Osorio followed the rebound off a shot from a missed shot from a teammate with a sliding finish. Bellamy got in front of the shot, just wasn't able to corral it. And heads up play by Osorio to follow up the shot. And he slid and knocked it into the far post, essentially. Edison Flores got the night going, scoring in the 7th minute off a rocket pass from Estrada outside the box. It's fun to watch Estrada get comfortable. Now, some things have changed, not too much schematically, but we're seeing him kind of get comfortable up top. Started watching him get comfortable with his teammates as well. And it was great to see Edison Flores join the attack. It's something folks have been waiting for a while. I kind of want Edison to kind of get to the type of form he plays. We see when he plays for his country. He's always in form for his country. In MLS, hasn't exactly been up to that form to this point, but it was good to see him score early. Unfortunately, it was wasted in this scenario because of how the game ended. But again, they went up 1-0 that early, and then in the 36th minute, a giveaway nearly at midfield. If the defender was trying to bring the ball up a little bit and clear it, pretty much got jumped, dispossessed immediately by Toronto. They got the ball to Ayo Akinola. hey, look, man, forwards get paid to do these things. He got the ball in space anyways. Anytime, fired a rocket of a shot past Hamid to even the game up at 1. It was tough for DC United to leave 2 points on the table, but the black and red did get a point out the game. We've seen there was a horrific performance early this year where they were up 2-0 and lost the game 3-2 at home. So it could always be worse. However, getting 1 point is better than getting no points. Also, that obviously they would have rather had all 3, but that wasn't to be, with them giving up that goal in the 89th minute. That puts them at 11th in the Eastern Conference standings. The year is going by. It is a long year, but they're currently 4-6-2 on the year. They got to start getting things together. So there's some positives in the fact that we're seeing Estrada come on in the attack. You guys have heard me on here raving about Taxi already, and they just got to continue to gel up front. But what has to happen, they have given up a ton of soft goals this year, and especially in set pieces. They just have to mark better in those situations. This week, the Black and Red hit the road to take on the New York Red Bulls. This time, because it's not like last week, you should be expecting more of the full squad to be available to participate in this matchup. Again, going on the road, look, man, it is what it is. Right now, you need as many positive results as possible. You need to go in there, look to get all 3 points. If you can leave 1, so be it, but you need to get in that mindset because you're in 11th, man. You got to get, I think 7th is on top of that invisible line to let you know that you're not in the postseason, in postseason play. So you got some work ahead of you. Again, it's only been 12 games. However, time's a ticket. Because, for instance, last week you had 2 games. There's some 10-day stretches where you play 3 games. You don't get, you start doing the math and things don't add up. It catches up to you very quickly, right? So the 9-4-50 breakdown this week by our guy Jamal Hayward, it's a breakdown of how to use dribble pound over different shots. Well, dribble pound for different shots, rather. Again, a breakdown of how to use dribble pound for different shots, followed by our second break. When we return, get into some rapid fire because it's what we do here. You're watching the Focus TV.
Today we're going to break down the move going to the basket for layups and different finishes off a combo move to the wing and top of the key. It's called a pound over. So after I finish my combo move, I'm going to help the finish coming through. I can pound over for a layup, a short jump shot, doing it with either hand. So if I'm attacking from this point here, break down the move. I'm attacking from this point here. Now, we break down the move. I'm going to take that pound over after that wrap dribble. My first step is with my right foot. So I'm dribbling my right hand. It's going to be my right foot for the first step. Here, long steps, right to the basket. So, let's get a combo move here, come to the basket. And then the other side. Different finishes that we can work on. So those are multiple finishes that we can work on from that move, that pound over with either hand.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. Want to thank Jamal Hayward for knocking out the 9-4-50 breakdown. So, Octavia, rapid fire. Obviously, he's not going to be as hard hitting as when Cardell has his hands at the controls of this segment of the show. However, we are, in fact, here. So, got some interesting ones for you this week. Try my best. We're going to start with Denver Nuggets. President of Basketball Operations, Tim Connolly, has agreed to a 5-year deal worth $40 million that includes ownership equity to oversee the Minnesota Timberwolves basketball operations, per ESPN report, a.k.a. Woj. The Wolves announced the hiring on Monday, but did not release terms of the agreement. The deal makes Connolly one of the NBA's highest compensated executives and transforms the Timberwolves franchise that has struggled to find stability in its leadership structure. We've seen the work he's done with the Nuggets. We have seen it. We have seen it. Back-to-back MVPs. We have seen it. So I just want to ask you your thoughts of what this means for both teams, right? Because this isn't the first time that the Nuggets haven't been able to retain a quality personnel, like a quality member of personnel. Tim Connolly was hired after they couldn't keep Masai.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on over there. It's none of my business. So I know Calvin Booth is the next man up in Denver. So shout out to Mr. Booth. But that said, thoughts on what this means for Minnesota?
I mean, I think it's a good thing for Minnesota. You know, we've seen, you know, how they performed in the playoffs and, you know, throughout the year. They got a good little nucleus right now. And if they can have somebody that can be at the helms and, you know, keep them structured and keep the pieces that they have, since, you know, we're talking about the pieces that Denver's losing. But if Minnesota can keep the pieces that they have and possibly add to it, but not mess up the nucleus of it, because I really do like the combination of, you know, D'Lo and Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, like, I think that's a really good combination. As you know, they're still pretty young. You know, it seems like we've talked about Cat forever. I know Anthony Edwards is in his second or third year. And I know, you know, it seems like D'Angelo Russell has been everywhere. So, but they're still relatively young, you know, and they can still build around them. So I think that's great for Minnesota. I mean, on the other hand, for Denver, you know, it is kind of a double-edged sword, because it's like, I mean, we grow good people here. You know, it's kind of like Denver has, you know, a tree now. It's like everybody has come from us and gone other places and have done well. And that's, you know, kind of what you want, you know, but it's still kind of tough when you can't keep them. Yeah. So it's a double-edged sword with that. But I think Denver will be fine. Like you said, back-to-back MVPs, you know, waiting for Jamal Murray to get back. I still think it was a travesty that Jamal Murray did not play at all this year. You know, I thought that he would, you know, at least come in somewhere, but the fact that he wasn't able to, and I know he got injured in the playoffs last year, so it was kind of like, hasn't been a full year or not, but for him coming back, Michael Porter Jr. coming back, you know, Will Barton still being there, and maybe Aaron Gordon gets to actually play the position and the role that Aaron Gordon was brought there to do, which was not to be a main scorer. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what Denver does, but I think that they still have a lot of positives with the players they have coming back.
All right, so I'm going to throw the added caveat to this. So you hired Connolly, right? Gets the man this draft clear, his first draft here. You want to know what he's working with in terms of picks? The guy who's done what he's done, you know, we've seen his work in Denver. It's very good work, clearly. He's going into this draft. He has 4 picks. He has 4 selections in this draft. And Tim Connolly, 4 selections in this draft. 1 in the first round, which is 19th overall. Not bad. But then where he's shown that he's made his name in the second round. He has not 1, not 2, but 3 selections in the second round. You got 40, 48, and 50. So you got 3 things that you either want to use all of them, use them to package up, move up, do whatever you want to do, but that's not bad. And again, you mentioned the ages of Cat and D'Lo, right? 26. Despite everything that's been going on. You know,
that's what I said. I was like, it seems like they've been here for so long, but they're still so young. Like, it's like crazy.
Those two and Wiggins, all 20. Those 2, Wiggins and Kevon Looney, who feel like they have been in the NBA, like all of them feel like they're at least 30 at 26.
Yes.
Kevon Looney feels like it's 35. And he hasn't been here that long. 26 years old.
That's
just
crazy.
26, right? No, I think it's a good look for Minnesota. For Denver, you've been through this already. We're gonna see how Mr. Booth does. But obviously, like, you know, when Conley took over, there wasn't a Jokic here. So that's one of the things in Booth, like, your job's a little bit different than, you know, your predecessor left you in great hands. Right? You got some things you could do, some things you could tweak. You got a 2-time MVP though. That's what you do. That's what you are walking in with.
And the one thing is too, is like, that means don't mess it up. You can't make it worse.
Right. Well,
like, don't do that now. Like, you coming here to add to, like,
man. But you remember a couple weeks ago we were talking rapid fire with Coach Malone was saying, like, it's a big offseason. Like, we need to capitalize and make the most out of this window with the Joker. So I'm interested. I'm so interested in seeing, like, this offseason NBA is probably gonna be nuts. I'm interested to see how people are going to react to things. People that are trying to take the next step, people who, where depending on who their horses are, do they feel like they can open windows or is it time to move on or what have you? And that's not even factoring who's won the championship yet because we don't know. We talked about earlier. This is a fun one. Tyreek Hill had this to say about his new quarterback. Quote, "At first, I thought it was going to be something crazy. The ball going all over the place. But Tua actually has probably one of the prettiest balls I've ever caught in my life. It's very catchable. Tua's a very accurate quarterback. That's all I'm going to say." Your thoughts?
He's money crazy at this point. He has so much money that it's clouding his judgment.
Oh, you don't bang with Tua like that?
No, I'm not even saying that, but I'm not saying that Tua can't throw. But to say like he has the prettiest spiral that you've ever caught, like you ain't used to play with Patrick Mahomes. Like, let's not do that.
He didn't say ever. He was just he said one of the. He said one of the. So it would only be Pat and then Tua. You said don't even put him in the conversations and leave that alone.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You got to back your man because you're gonna be there for I can't remember how many years.
At least 2. It's at least 2.
You're gonna be there, so especially because you're like, I mean, if he does well this year, he'll be here for next year. I mean, if he don't do good, then I'm probably looking for another quarterback. They're gonna be looking for another quarterback to throw the ball to me anyway. I mean, but I think it was funny too because it was some video that the Miami Dolphins put out. And it was like, look at the connection between Tua and Tyreek already. And the ball was like wobbling in the air.
I don't understand how that got cleared to be.
Who is a media person?
Who cleared that? It didn't even follow the caption. And I know that was not the best pass of the day that you saw. And if that was the best pass, you could have waited till the next day. And that's the worst part for me. I was deeply offended because I'm like, in Alabama, he had a 4x1 track team to throw to, and he threw deep all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't look like that. So again, like you said, Miami Dolphins social team, why did y'all hit send? Why did you did Tua do something to one of y'all?
But see, then Tyreek had to come to his defense because I think he ended up posting another video of the spider spiral and everything. So,
but the players shouldn't have to respond to the team's post, right?
This is your job. It's your job to make us look good, not bad.
Like, how do you mess that up? Like how do you mess that up?
I don't know. But I mean, I think it's cool that he's, trying to defend his quarterback. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do. But I'm sorry, he's not a better quarterback. He's not better than the quarterback you just came from. It's not many that are, if any. So
that's a given. Right now, it's just about how just where the floor is. Like that's a given.
Yeah.
The good thing I think for Tua is that I think what I'm kind of like I guess what I'm hopeful for, I have faith in, is that he threw to them speedy dudes at Alabama, like on a regular basis. So he knows he has to get that thing out early. It's not like it's new. Again, going back to the Miami Dolphins social team, what were you doing? Then a couple of days later, he's uncorking beautiful throws to Waddle and company. Is like, and that's the other thing. He was in college with Waddle, who is not slow. You had to throw to. You were throwing to Waddle, Ruggs, and Smith, and Judy. Nobody was slow. So you could have pulled a clip from Alabama for all I care, edited it, and put Tyreek in at the end. Why did you do what you did? That said, the Ravens signed a 1-year deal with veteran corner Kyle Fuller earlier today. Thoughts on him joining the Ravens secondary? And isn't that just like the most Ravens thing you've heard?
Honestly, I didn't even know that until you said it.
I'm happy to inform you of that.
That is definitely something that the Ravens would do. It's just, I mean, don't you guys have enough? But I mean,
no,
granted,
they don't believe that on defense. No.
I mean, that's what I mean. It's like they don't ever feel like they have enough. And granted, I give them a pass because last year they thought they had enough, but they didn't because everybody got hurt. So I get it. And they have a lot of people coming up back off of injuries. So it's not fair, but it's the Ravens. I'm not surprised. So not surprised at all.
Yeah, it just I texted Justin. I was just like, man, this is the most Ravens stuff ever. Like you just waited, you sat still in the draft and stuff just fell to you. Then you minded your business. First day of OTAs for many teams, you were like, oh look, there's a Kyle Fuller in free agency. No one has signed him. Oh, sure. Come on down, Mr. Fuller. We would love to have a veteran corner like yourself, join our ranks of veteran corners and young corners from Alabama, of which we love so much. I really do feel like they got an Alabama corner like pipeline in their building. They like lost Anthony Aver and it was like, we'll take Jalen Armour-Davis from Alabama. Come on down. Come spend time with Marlon Humphrey, also from Alabama. Like they're busy, but they're one of many teams like that. And this is a fun one. This is how we're going to end. And I apologize that I had to bring it up. It's not my fault. I saw it. So for whatever reaction your face is going to be to this, I apologize.
I'm nervous.
Right? Just know it wasn't personal. It's not about the Eagles. So relax. But I'm sorry you have to talk about this. One of Carolina's quarterbacks and their coach had some quotes. So I wanted to read them, share them with you, and get your thoughts on them.
Okay.
Quote, as long as I know what we're doing, what the defense is doing, I'm confident I can be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Darnold said Tuesday, the first time he spoke to reporters since offseason workouts have begun. His coach followed up, this is Coach Matt Rule, said, Darnold is practicing with a edge, as Rob Riley would say, he hasn't seen before. What Sam has been through this offseason has been very hard. Your back's against the wall. Everyone's kind of questioning whether you can do this or not. We've seen a guy who has shown up who has a little more edge to him. He's very, very focused. Your thoughts? I'm sorry.
I'm confused at why this offseason is different than any other offseason he's had. Because these have been the same questions we've talked about every other offseason he's had. Every other team he's been on when he's been the starter, we've had these same questions. So I don't care about this quote unquote edge. I don't care about this focus. If it don't look good past 4 games in the season, because that's all he gave us last year was 4 games. There's 17. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I want to talk to y'all. Like, he better. Who did they draft? What was it? Howell? You're on mute. Corral. You're on mute, but I'm reading your lips because you said I could tell you said.
Sorry about that, Matt Coral. I'm sorry. I hit mute twice over here, and I forgot I hit it twice. So I was like, I'm talking. Oh yeah, there's another mute function. I'm so sorry about that. This is what happens when I have look. It hurt me writing this, and I apologize again. So this is the one time I'm going to apologize to you this entire football season. It's for this question. This is our OTAs. We're getting it out the way now. So I apologize.
I don't believe you guys. Okay, Matt Rule and Sam Darnold, like nobody believes you. Y'all, like he better be focused enough and hope. Like I said, Matt Corral don't come out of nowhere. I'm not saying I don't know what their plans are or anything like that, but Sam, especially in a season where we all kind of feel like Matt Rule is definitely on the hot seat from the jump of the season, so things go bad kind of quickly. I'll see if he has those same sentiments.
Yeah. So like this is the thing, Matt Rule. I'm gonna be real honest. I'm gonna mentally check this, file it away, and in a couple weeks, when James is healthy and can pass a physical, I want to know if he's gonna be on your team or not. But I hear you. Sounds good right now, buddy. Sounds great.
I honestly forgot all about James.
Yeah. It was a second day of OTAs for the team that I root for. So been watching a lot of stuff. And might I add, I'll tell you some more stuff, off air, but there's what is it? There's an edge in that building right now. And I've never seen them like this. It's also interesting because not James looks like he's walking around like this is my building now, and it is what it is, and everybody's fine. Like he walked in laughing, joking, talking with the the media or whatever. A couple folks in the media kind of try to double or triple up on questions. My man cut it off like you said that was the last one, buddy. Smile on his face. They asked him about what he thinks about people outside the building. He said in the most respectful way, "Don't care about y'all. I like you. I'm happy for you guys. I know you have a job to do. Don't care what you write about. But I'm happy for you." Literally, that's what he said to them. So that's cool, Matt Rule. Holla at me around training camp, man. I hear you though. It sounds great.
On the second day of OTAs,
Yeah, it's the second day of OTAs. Like your trade targets, because of the Darnold experience, I don't see them going to get Baker.
And I don't either. That's why I never like that situation. Yeah. It's like we've already tried like some type of like bridge quarterback.
Yeah, or like the redemption type thing. Yeah. Like the top dude who maybe there's something left.
He just, he's down on his luck. He's going to prove himself. Like, no, we did that already. We need somebody who has already proven themselves.
Just go get an adult. You know what he is and what he isn't. It's on you what you ask him to do. And honestly, I think that might be the best thing for Carolina. I'm not gonna lie. Like he can manage offense. DJ Moore, you're gonna be upset. You get over it. Some of them deep passes ain't happening, brother. But Diggs, he likes Diggs. Yeah, slow down. He likes Diggs.
Slow down.
He likes slants and Diggs. So Robbie Anderson, get familiar with running Diggs. Or you'll be running clear outs. And just know, after you pass that 15 to 17-yard range, you are no longer on his radar. Just. But again, Matt Rule, funny guy. We don't believe you. We do not believe you at all. I'm sorry. I can't believe you. I just can't. Like, I don't take either quarterback you have in that room seriously at the moment. Like, it feels like a college thing where you have two and you don't have one. That's what it feels like to me. Not to be rude, but just
facts.
You got one dude who went the Power 5 school, big boy route, everybody loved him, and look at where he's at. Then you got another dude with, some issues off the field or what have you. People kind of don't talk about it too much, and that's cool. But, hopefully he's over his demons and whatnot. But, from a talent standpoint, not exactly the same level or whatever that, the other guy is. And I don't know what you have. I know you got a problem, and you probably need to go get you a quarterback. That sounds good, man. We don't believe you. That's like when did you see before the draft? I think like their GM came out and said something like, "Oh, something about Sam," and it was like, "Oh, no," and then like retracted the statement because it was like, "Oh, did you talk to Sam about if you guys are going to draft a quarterback?" Like, bro, who needs to check with Sam Darnold if
I don't. Darnold is in charge. That's why.
Apparently, I'm out here like that's not Brady or Rodgers or Mahomes or. It's not one of those
whoever
guys.
Baker thought he was.
Nah, that's another story for another day. I'm gonna remain mature, but I see you trying to set me up. I see that. You're gonna bring Baker in the last moment.
I think he thought he was that too.
Said that man thought he was him. He soon found out. Want to thank you.
Are not.
Gonna get out of here before we get in trouble. Gonna thank y'all for tuning in today. Truly appreciate you guys. Have a nice week. Don't forget Wednesday mornings by 9 to 9:30. We got this uploaded. Our weekly show uploaded to our Roku channel. All you got to do if you got a Roku television device is literally in the search bar, type in the Focus TV. It's really that simple. Hit OK twice. You add the channel. If you don't have a Roku television device, DCTV Friday nights 10 p.m. Eastern. That's simple. If you're outside the city, go to dctv.org and you can watch it on their live stream there. And you can go to dctv.org to see when the show re-airs over the weekend. And last but not least, get over to thefocustv.com. Busy this week. We got the open runs this week, and to check that out, we're going to let you guys know how that goes. So it's a good time to follow us on all your social media mediums, as well as, the morning show. Got a whole lot of stuff going on, man. And, Octavius Sport is back, so we're getting into that. OTAs, and y'all can come in the morning and vent about your teams. We got time for that. We always do. And we'll have NFL wrap up back at some point, as we get closer, probably get closer to training camp, because not about to get up here just talking about nothing, even though some teams are starting off with a bang. Y'all have a great week for Octavia and myself, Cardell and Ray as well. We'll see you guys soon.